Welcome to an introduction to Passive House. This is part 4 of a 5-part series. In this episode, we'll review Passive House costing and why it's possible to make passive houses affordable. We should also address upfront the very real and concrete concern about costs. After all, it has to be affordable to be successful, right? So how much does it cost? And here we need to change our thinking too, because Passive House can't be an ad alternate in the bidding process. If it's seen as an add-on, it's going to fail. You're not going to get it. Passive House cannot be seen as an upgrade. This too will doom it in the project. Instead, Passive House must be a fully integrated approach, a fundamental programmatic item. It is the only way to succeed. And to be clear, making a Passive House building is not about making the cheapest building. This is high quality construction made to last, but it is about affordable high quality. And as a fully integrated goal, experience shows that the Passive House related decisions can actually drive down costs as much as they might raise costs. In fact, there are so many other decisions in a given project that have a much greater impact on the ultimate project cost. Passive House shouldn't break the budget. Passive House should fit in your budget. Let's note that this graph demonstrates the lack of direct correlation between passive houses, the blue dots, and the non-passive houses, the black dots, and cost. In these examples, Passive House was not an add-on, but an integrated goal. And it shows the average cost of the passive houses to actually be less expensive. I don't know all the decisions made, but clearly optimization in the designs and construction are driving affordability. However, let's not count on Passive House buildings to be cheaper. After all, we don't eat as nutritiously as we should, and we don't exercise enough either, at least most of us. So let's not assume we're going to optimize our Passive House enough. It's life, right? So let's aim for affordable, not the cheapest, maybe even a bit more. And what we're seeing is that a 3 to 5% increase in project cost from a reasonable baseline can be expected. If the increase is greater than 5%, then the decisions need to be re-examined as something went off the rails in the design and decision-making process. Let's say a few brief words on staying on budget. To stay on budget, Passive House must be included at the very conception of the project, not introduced in construction documents or design development or even in schematic design. Passive House must be included in the pre-design programming work. And you really must work with a certified Passive House designer or consultant, and preferably work with the building certifier from the beginning so that you can benefit from their institutional knowledge. Don't dig a hole on day one that you have to then later get yourself out of. Require the team of professionals and builders to have proper Passive House training. The engineer and architect should be certified Passive House designers too, and the builder should be a certified Passive House tradesperson. Passive House expertise is needed to optimize effectively in the project process. And optimize from the start and stick to getting certified, stick to the target. And if team members are feeling like something is just too tough or seems impossible, it could be that a lack of experience and known references is inhibiting them. Get them to reach out. Find examples and experiences around the world. They're out there because while Passive House is young, there is a world of experience to benefit from. The global Passive House community is generous in sharing information, so use it. We can't be islands and succeed. And let's be clear, if you're diligent and eat your spinach and run those laps, you can come in at traditional building costs or maybe even be less expensive. Easier said than done, right? Well, it may seem impossible on its face. I mean, how can you be at cost parity or close to cost parity and have all these amazing benefits baked in? Predictability is the key. You can fully optimize the performance and the economics if you have a strong sense of predictability, if you can calculate accurately and execute to a clear plan. So the Passive House Institute didn't just give us this new concept and say, hey, go to it, good luck, but instead provided a pathway, a methodology, and a wide and growing number of tools to enable predictability. Building certification is critical, but there is much more to it. There are component certifications of essential components like windows and ventilation units. Be sure to check out the database of thousands of certified components on the Institute's website. And critical personnel certification on the design and construction sides. The PHPP energy model is an active tool in the design of the building. Reference materials abound from the Passipedia, the building database, and other corners of PHI's vast website. And PHI conducts ongoing cutting-edge research around the world with new uses, new climates, new typologies, and new methodologies. The Passive House Institute has over 60 employees from all over the world, many of them not just building scientists, engineers, or architects, but physicists. It's an extraordinary brain trust that you have the opportunity to work with. And the knowledge is widely shared through many channels, including the International Passive House Association, of which NAPHN is a part. The peer-to-peer global knowledge sharing network may be the most powerful aspect of all. It is also possible because the pathway includes very clear certification targets with metrics that include comfort, health, and energy. These are not relative targets set to a baseline that can be gamed, but hard targets that leave you knowing where you stand. Today, the targets include increasing levels of renewable energy production, integration, and greater efficiencies, buildings built to be future-proof. The certifications also extend to retrofits with the EnerFit standard, also including higher levels of performance and renewable energy integration. EnerFit provides flexible pathways, including a step-by-step strategy that allows for phasing of work in sync with the replacement cycles of the building systems, ensuring that passive house performance is the end result. We mentioned the building certifiers earlier in relation to controlling costs, and the importance of their role cannot be overstated. We are fortunate to have 13 independent certifiers operating in the United States today. They work cooperatively, sharing experiences and information with each other, and the certification process from day one of your project is critical to making success normal. And a side note, but an important one. We see today more and more buildings claiming to be passive house buildings, or they are advertised as being built using passive house principles. Be skeptical of these claims. We see these buildings that are alleged to be passive house buildings falling short too often of owner expectations. So buyer beware. If the building is not certified by one of these certifiers, your risk of not meeting your targets, your risk of producing a gap in performance can go up significantly. I hope you enjoyed this segment. Be sure to watch part 5 on the passive house methodology and see it change how we make buildings.